What makes education an interesting field, and particularly our school, is that not only are we sitting behind computers and at desks and doing statistical analyses and reading books, but we're also very active in implementing some of our research. And I think that's a theme in the School of Education. We're trying to address underserved populations and their plight, and trying to work in research toward developing ideas and strategies and policies which will help these populations.
One of the purposes behind bilingual research is not only to show teachers how children develop in two languages, such as English and Spanish, but it also shows them how to appreciate different cultures, unlike the ones they may have been brought up. There's a big distinction within public education between English speakers and somebody who speaks Spanish, because we tend to see Spanish speakers from a deficit, when really they have a culture, they come into the classroom with their culture. And instead of taking a deficit-based approach to instruction, we take a bilingual approach to instruction. Well, I think one thing that we have done well is develop bilingual teachers, both from an English and Spanish perspective. This allows our teachers to take the research, the current state of bilingual research, and put that into practice, which in turn allows me to come into classrooms like this one and look at how these children and how the teacher is instructed bilingually.
Children with identified developmental disabilities, including autism, are 3 times more likely to develop a mental health disorder than typically developing children. When or if they do, they are also likely to fall through the service delivery cracks. And as a result, if early intervention doesn't take place, these children are at very high risk of out-of-home residential placement, private facility placements, which is a huge cost in terms of real dollars to society. SEARCH is a relatively new family autism resource center at UC Riverside, nested within the Graduate School of Education, that grew out of the 30 years of research that I did do with families, because during that time we realized how much stress these families faced and how disenfranchised some families who were less advantaged educationally or economically, how difficult it was for them to access services and receive intervention for their children.
I guess I would frame some of my research in a policy way toward identifying populations and behaviors of either disadvantaged populations, underserved populations, neglected populations. And community colleges are the institutions in this country that house the adult students who are the lowest in the socioeconomic scale in our society. They are the students who are largely disadvantaged. We have a national ideology or a national discourse that argues that America must be competitive. In order to be competitive, we have to have a more trained workforce. And so part of that in training a workforce is their education. At the same time, we are withdrawing our funds for education. Research is our primary function, and there are 20 faculty who are conducting research. It seems to be their lifeblood. It seems to be what they talk about all the time. But what they're trying to show in their research is what interventions, what practices in K-12, what practices in community colleges, what practices in universities will help improve education, not take away from education.